which might put you on a trajectory to a cushier job, which by the time you're 70 or 75 might put you in the boardroom somewhere. But you spilled the coffee because you were making all these other decisions from your frantic, nervous, decision-making, goal-oriented self. When maybe you should have been like the way that you were any other day of the week. Crocking it, yo. Half drone-like, on instinct, pouring the coffee. No undue deference. No stakes. It is all good. Okay. The times. Okay. See, this guy's not looking at me, is he? Whew, okay. Whew. Sometimes you don't get to have the satisfaction of the eye contact, the nod, the wave. Sometimes you get cold, deadpan, might know you're there, might not, from the drivers on the roads. And their cars might be on, and they might be in a position to brain you if the wrong part of the brain seizes for just a split second. If it's the wrong split second. I do want to cross. This is one of those times where behaving illegally and jaywalking 15 feet in that direction is absolutely the safer option. But here we are doing the legal thing. And I did not get run over by the guy at the corner on my left. And that's a good thing. Sometimes the legal thing is the unsafe thing. And sometimes in Russia, croc brains you. I have noticed how much less sense I make on listening to these playbacks. How much less sense I make than I think that I make in the speaking. But isn't that just how everything is with people? At least I get the chance to see myself from the outside. It's one more way. It's interesting. A view of myself from the outside, listening to these words, watching these scenes play out. Doing this, well, listening to this later from the future, which will be outside of now, I anticipate. That's going to be that's just one more way of introspecting. So, viewing from the outside can help the viewpoint from the inside. It seems like it wouldn't make sense, but it does feel right. It does res, and the basic sense behind it that I could speak to validate that thought, or that thought and feeling complex on the issue, is that whether I be watching myself in the past or watching myself in the future, whether I be listening to the way that people talk to me as a mirror to my own behavior, and as an invitation to let go of any responsibility that I have toward their behavior, it's all just a series of mirrors. This whole world is just a series of cameras and mirrors held up. And Joe Rogan's right. More of them are better than less. Of course, he was using the word talk. But talk is transmission of information. Talk is commerce. so is this that we're doing. I'm getting some weird sounds from the mic. I wonder if this is getting recorded. Wonder if we've stopped getting recorded. Nope, we're good. Hey, great success. I managed to remember to turn on airplane mode this time, so we're not going to get a text half an hour in that shuts off this or that episode. Whew. Any number of other things could happen. But, well, I'm not too worried about that. Not too worried about that. Just for giggles, I'm going to show you guys something. Yeah. That is actually a crafted piece of art right there. I don't know who did that, but it tripped me the fuck out. And it reminded me, you just don't know what you're gonna get out here, cowboy. Hey, golf course. Well, if we were going to run a marathon, we'd go straight here. But we're not doing that today. I'm taking a left to begin the circling back to the home slice, to the pad, to crock pad. Yeah, it's enough, you know. It's enough. When I heard Aubrey talking earlier, even though it was only for a second or two, I thought to myself, oh, that's right. It's all good. I am a wave cresting upon other waves. And there are waves building on me that are going to reach out further in time as I begin my descent back into the ocean. This figment of imagination within a dream. That is A-okay. That feeling. It's like the comfort of Friday night when you got nothing to do tomorrow and you roll over, wake up momentarily disturbed, and then you realize you've only been in bed a couple of hours. You've only been asleep for a couple of hours. There's a whole night of comfortable, warm, snug rest right ahead of me. Ooh, yeah. And we roll over and we dip back. That's the feeling. That's the feeling. I am not a human being that would say that I traditionally have grounds to characterize my experience through this life so far as one of being safe. I've not felt tremendously safe most of my life. I'm an adult now. I can set about my circumstances to make things a little more safe where I have control. And I can also do things like this where I let go. And I remember, or I invite in the calming, balmy advice of, hey, that's right. My ancestors are singing out of the past and those echoes make me. And then I contribute to the song. And then after me, something else happens to carry the procession, to continue to echo the chorus, however it pivots and modulates going forward in the future. That's a beautiful thing. It's just a dream within a dream. I have to be a person, but when I spend too long in alpha state, making decisions, running plays, making that money, counting the dollars, thinking about taxes, figuring stuff out. Whew, boy, it creeps up. I think that's just something that we all deal with, don't we? I just had an odd thought. I was thinking about caveman self and our mimetic genetic history as a species. How it's geared to amp us up at a moment's notice when necessary. And how that modality of physiology is really well suited to some things. But it's not necessarily well suited for a long lifespan. Because we don't have a counter to it. And then I thought, what's the counter to the tiger, run, jump, spear reflex that's always available to all of us within, some majority of the population. Neurochemically, I get it. We're all different. Somebody out there cannot quickly rouse themselves and fight a tiger off. That's a lot of people. I totally get it. I'm saying that the structures and resources are embedded in most of us. Or if they are not present in an individual, probably because a mutation happened, or because that person has been hit the wrong way by the wrong object, or there was something else. The resources are pretty vastly available to be able to just get up and go if we need to. And calming ourselves on reflex to a deep level does not appear to have the same thing. Or if it is, and I'm basically talking out of my ass here, I realize that, because I don't know. But let's say that there was. Let's say you did have something deep down in the mitochondria, in the little ATP packets swimming between the cells. Let's say you had something, a neuromuscular, hormonal, coordinative apparatus designed to calm you down immediately because you need to be calm now. It's strange to speak in those terms. It seems so backwards because I'm attributing momentous language or aggressive or confrontational or assertive alpha language. I'm giving that language to an apparatus that would be designed to calm you down now. The word I was looking for was immediacy. I'm assigning immediate language to this theoretical thing, this complex, this structure, this gland in the brain. Supposing it's there. If it is there, we've probably repressed it. Or it's become vestigial. Because for every guy that had a well-rounded gland, whatever that is, yeah, that guy might make it 2 in 10 times, 3 in 10 times to get old enough to procreate. But there's a lot of fucking tigers. So the guy with the go gland, that complex, more of those guys are gonna make it. There's more tigers than there are whatever the anti-tiger is. Whatever the Jesus Christ, you need to slow down and calm down right now thing is. And I was wondering about what that looks like in the animal kingdom. Does that happen anywhere? And I thought to myself, yeah, anything that has a pronounced shock reaction or an exaggerated shock response in their physiology. I've seen that. We've all seen that. We've all seen how easy it is to make a sheep like go still. What is that? Possums do it too, don't they? They just nope out. And I guess it's a very stressful response, but it is a paralytic one, which is odd. It's so odd. There's other beings that do that too. I had one of my rabbits. Aren't rabbits easily shocked as well? Like they just, they don't see you coming and you poke one in the center of the forehead and they're just like, oh! Their little rabbit hearts stop for like 5 seconds and hopefully restart again. Yeah, it's like the play dead response. It's like the insta-coma response. Hibernation might be one version of this. Any animal that hibernates. It's like that, nope, you need to chill back because there's not enough food and you will burn too many calories if you are out in the alpha state for the winter. Comas and suspended animation, I guess. We don't really have robust, accessible, pull yourself into and out of comas physiology, do we? There's no coma gland, is there? Well, the yogis have practices. Some yogis have practices. There's certain modalities in the yogic traditions that I've heard of that ancient masters who have been rocking and rolling for a good hefty lifetime will consciously exit the human body. They call it the final meditation, I think. Paramahansa Yogananda is said to have undergone this. He's just sitting there surrounded by people that he loves, and he's like, yep, it's my time. And he breathes deeper and deeper, and then he just stops and he dies. I've never seen anybody do this, so I don't know if it's real. I don't see why not. Death's door is called Death's Door because it's useful to call Death's Door a door. Because death is a thing. Because death is a thing, it's something that you can have a relationship with. Which means that there's something in the human being that's like a hand that can turn a knob and open, close, waft, modulate, slide, scratch at, or investigate death's door. And most human beings are a little lopsided. We're really robust and really strong at slamming the door shut. Which ain't gonna help us depending on the size of the storm that's trying to blow that door open and reach us. But I guess that's just another way of having the conversation that the Greeks would call some Greeks at some time might have called the dance between Eros and Thanatos, the life instinct and the death instinct. Whatever the blue hell that means. Does this guy see me? Yes, he does. All right. See? Whew. What does a robust slow-down gland look like? I guess it looks like silence and music. I guess it looks like this thing. It's like umami. It's like that taste where you can't really tell it's there unless there's other tastes going on. And then they have this certain perky quality. If your silence is right, then it's going to affect infinitely, just as much, correspondingly, as any other note, as any actual sound that's happening. The slowdown response. And I guess that's true. For every tiger pouncing, there's a zillion almost tigers. So probably the best way to scope somebody out for a really well-developed and robust slowdown complex, or shock complex, or coma complex, whatever you want to call it. If you're going to try to find that person, you're probably going to be looking for proficiency. You're going to be looking for Miyamoto Musashi's ideal fencer or swordsman, swordswoman, sword lizard, whatever. They're just ready to pivot on a dime. The whole system, in a moment of mindfulness, becomes a machine for doing just the proper amount of ups and acts and slashes and whatever. Just like having just the right de-escalations of motion and down-regulation of aggressive instincts. And they beat the foolhardy, brash and brazen swordsfolk who they go for the chop, the leaping chop every time. But Miyamoto's swords people are also gonna know to use the uptick, to use the go gland. On an enemy that seems timid, uncertain of themselves, indecisive, caught between different actions. Because that's the problem with the coma response, right? The better the response comes out, the more easy it is to go overboard and go from shock to coma, from coma to death. Isn't that the problem with sheep? If they get shocked too hard, they actually just die. Or it takes them weeks to come out of something when the actual size of the danger was not proportional to the response. Even though it's a slow down response, boy. How many times can I point out the weirdness between dichotomies? Speed up, slow down. How many times can I do that? And then how many times can I lose myself as I see pieces of each in the other? Warriors fighting for peace. Sheep going into shock. Reflexively, perhaps in a blind panic, and that saving them somehow. That's so odd. It makes no goddamn sense to me. Hurry up and wait. I guess that's why the yin-yang is such a cool symbol. That you find to be opposite is within you, right to the center. That which seems that is not that. That which seems not as that is that. Yeah. Opposites are tough. How about the praise and blame complex? Woo! Oh yeah, Iroh hinted at it in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because that show's made for 8-year-olds. He's telling his brash and brazen nephew, look man, the shame you feel right now, no, you say that you're proud. I forget how the conversation went actually. All that I remember is that Iroh said that pride was not the opposite of shame, but its source. And that he had to release his sense of inner shame if he wanted all of this anger to go away. Yeah. Which, if I was going to say that to an adult, I think I might say it more as ego. Whoops. I didn't realize it, but I'm on the golf course. Haha. Okay, let's go back to the sidewalk. even though it's really pretty over there. Praise and shame. Socrates told Dan at one point that as far as they had come on their journey, there was no longer going to be any heavy-handed critiquing of Dan's behavior. If he ended up pointing out any weird shit that his student was doing, Dan would recognize it. He might disagree, or he might agree, but either way, unattached, he was available to a very jovial and non-echo generating response of just laughing it off, man. Whether right or wrong, whether he was acting in a noble way or in a dumb way. Often a mixture of both. Because remember, for most of that book, Socrates is poking fun at Dan and his serious ways and his ego. There's a point when there's like a training montage where Socrates will not stop biting Dan for all the sloppiness in his actions. Calling him out every single time Dan's eyes wander around the room and he loses focus on the conversation they're having, or every time Dan's got self-pity. Anything. Socrates is just relentlessly critiquing him. And eventually he stops and he's like, bro, at this point in time, like that was there for a phase. That was the focus of our training for a phase. We are now in the new phase, which is just, it's a pretty late stage of the game place to be, which was, you got to have your own inner compass and your inner voice guide you. Oh, shit. That thing was... How long was I standing there? as the walk signal was just blinking at me like, you doofus, get over here. I'm talking about esoteric shit, and there's shit right in front of my face. That is good stuff, man. Because that's the problem, right? The inner critic, the inner compass that's supposed to be pointing us to magnetic north, and magnetic north being a good life, whatever that means. That compass is so full of liquid that's not pointing north. It's so full of this praise and shame thing. If I get praised, that's a good sense that I'm going in the right direction. Even though God knows why I might get praised, especially from the outside, from others, especially if they don't know me, or especially if they have an agenda. I'm sure they can guide me to north. Maybe they can. But I do like the advice of develop that inner compass. Just like we were talking about with the down-regulation thing and the up-regulation thing, a well-conditioned, yeah, it's slightly faster to get home through the tracks, but I'm not gonna, we'll go the slightly longer way. Time check. Maybe not while running. 1 hour, 1 minute, and 58 seconds. Dizzity damn. Good. Ain't that a pip? Okay. Anyway, yeah. Just like we were talking about. The proper shock response is, I don't want to say the measured shock response. The proper shock response is in proportion, in direction, articulate to, and proper, whoa, okay. Danger. I like a little danger. Oh God. They seem like they're fine. This is a blind turn, and I'm gonna go this way. So that guy can go that way. No cars are going this way, so I can corkscrew it the other way. Woo! Do a barrel roll. Thank you, Matt Pat. Now we all know those are called aileron rolls. And we love them. Just like Bob Hansler loves his gar. And he does. Whew. Oh, I got shit in my eye. Ah! It's falling off the hinges, boys. It's falling off the hinges. This is a podcast, by the way. If you stuck with us for the last hour, sorry. That is time you will not get back. Whew. I had bloody chicken last night with mushrooms and pasta. I haven't had bloody chicken in a while. It was not the tough, well done chicken. It was bloody. It was maybe medium. And it was kind of sexy. I enjoyed it. It was like, it was a little dangerous. All right, good. Good deal. Just one more time for me to process and watch myself in these moments. It's like, oh yeah. I have not a doubt that this thing is safe enough for me. Oh my God. Is that my voice? Is that my throat making that sound? My throat's squeaking. Must have been the chicken. Too much blood. I know. The best thing about it, besides the fact that I knew that my system could process it efficiently, the fact that it wasn't even a question, was that it was made for me. Or made, and then some of it was offered to me. That was very nice. Receiving. I don't know who that guy was, but he honked at me. And he looked at me. He had sunglasses, a hat, and white hair, and an orange shirt. He was older, middle flabby build. I don't know who that was. Yeah, my throat's better. That's good. Still got a little bit of squeak in there, but I'm moistened up with a couple of contemplative swallows of saliva. I really might want to consider